What's up guys, my name is Ace, and today we're going to be taking a very deep look at reloading in Modern Warfare 3, and more specifically, we're going to be breaking down how the mag holster perk, as well as the gunner vest, will impact our reload speeds and whether or not they're worth using. Because one of the things I've been hearing since launch is that mag holster doesn't really seem to be doing all that much, and it's just not a perk that's worth using. And to be honest, at least with certain guns, I felt the same. It feels like it's really not doing anything for you. So what I did is collected reload data on every single gun in the game, both with and without mag holster and the gunner vest, and I'm going to be sharing all of those results with you guys today. Now diving right in, it is important to understand the different types of reloading that can take place in Call of Duty. Many of you that have been around the series for a long time, you'll already know how this works, but this is something I need to cover with some detail here, so the rest of the video is going to be making sense. When you look at the advanced stats for a gun, you'll see reload quickness. This is the time it takes to complete an entire reload animation from start to finish. So the moment you start the reload to the moment your hipfire crosshairs will actually appear. So this includes some unnecessary animations, but that is your total reload animation time. Then it's also worth noting there is a separate reload time if you fire your magazine all the way till empty. And the reason behind this is there's an animation for chambering a round after an empty reload, whereas without an empty reload, you wouldn't have to chamber that round. Now I realize their number system doesn't really account for a round in the chamber, but we do have different animations for these, and your empty reload is always going to take a little bit longer than your base reload time. And that's just one little tip for those of you guys that weren't aware of this. It's always in your best interest to get a reload in before you fire your magazine all the way till empty, because you get a slightly faster reload time. But aside from that distinction between empty and non-empty reloads, there's another very important reload time. I would argue this is the most important reload time, and this is called our reload add time. And this is the amount of time it takes from the moment you initiate your reload to the moment that on the bottom right of your screen, the magazine appears to be full. So if you have a 30-round magazine, the moment you see that number 30 pop up in the bottom right, this means the reload is actually complete, but there will always be an animation after this time to finish off the rest of the total reload animation. Now the thing is, once that ammo has appeared in the bottom right, any animation after that is completely unnecessary and it can actually be canceled in multiple ways. The first way is sprint canceling, assuming you're not using a perk or vest that allows you to reload while sprinting. That won't cancel your reload, of course. So the other option is a YY cancel, or a weapon swap cancel, so you just swap to your other weapon and swap back really quickly. That will also cancel out any of that unnecessary animation. And this is why I always focus on this reload add time, because this is the reload potential of a gun. Assuming you're on the ball and you know how to cancel that reload animation, this is the reload time that really matters in game. And that's why all of the reload times I'm sharing today are going to be the reload add time, both with and without the mag holster attachment. And I also tested the gunner vest, and I guess we'll just get this out of the way right up front here to clear up any confusion. There was effectively no difference between mag holster and the gunner vest when it comes to the reload time of your gun. I did notice with a few of my guns, there may have been like a 1 or 2 frame difference at most, but not enough to really call these different. So effectively speaking, mag holster and the gunner vest give you the exact same reduction to your reload time. So everything from here on, I'm probably just going to say mag holster, just know it also applies while using the gunner vest. And let's just start going through the different weapon categories. With assault rifles, we actually saw some pretty good consistency here overall. With mag holster, our reload add time was reduced by about 24 to 39%. So there's definitely a bit of a range there, and you can see that it does depend on the gun that you're using. But at least in the case of assault rifles, generally speaking, mag holster is going to give you a noticeable benefit to your reload time. Although the big standout that gets a lot of improvement is the DG58. As for SMGs, this is where the mag holster doesn't really seem to be helping us nearly as much. We can actually see with the Rival 9, it only improves our reload time by 4.9%. And then the Striker, the 45 Striker, it's only helping by 9.7%. And I would say in both of these cases, that's absolutely not worth running. And it's also worth noting, none of the SMGs get an improvement over 30% with mag holster here. So if you are an SMG player, unless it's something like the WSP-9, I would probably rather be using something aside from mag holster that's going to be helping me a whole lot more. As for battle rifles, mag holster is a great option on any of these. You get a 30% or more improvement here. Then let's get into LMGs, and again, we're seeing a really wide range here. Unfortunately, the slowest reloading LMG, the Pull-Me-At 7.62, you only get a 7.1% improvement to your reload time with mag holster, which is very disappointing. I was hoping for a significantly better reload time here, and that's just really unfortunate to see. And honestly, with most of the LMGs, I would say mag holster isn't going to be helping you a whole lot. There is, of course, the one exception, which is the Holger 26. That gets a 33% reduction to your reload add time. But for all of the other ones, you're not really getting a huge benefit out of mag holster. And that is a little bit disappointing because with LMGs, I would say this is the most important to be reducing your reload time because they have the slowest reload in the category. And yet, it's generally not going to be helping you much here. As for Marksman Rifles, generally speaking, mag holster is going to be working quite nice for you. With Sniper Rifles, again, generally speaking, it's going to be pretty decent for you, although with the longbow, I would argue it's not really all that necessary. You get a really fast reload by default with that one. And finally, for primaries, with shotguns, you're generally getting a pretty solid benefit with mag holster, and it would be a good choice with these. As for sidearms, we are seeing a massive difference here depending on the sidearm that you're using. With the Core 45 and Renetti, the mag holster is incredible. You get a nearly instant reload add time with these. In fact, with the Renetti, your reload time's almost cut in half, which is pretty crazy. Whereas with the tier, you do get a bit of an improvement, and with the WSP Stinger, I mean, it's just so fast by default that you're not really going to see much of an improvement whatsoever with mag holster, and that's okay. You don't need to use mag holster with the WSP Stinger. And then finally, I'm sure a lot of you guys are interested in the launchers, and I know I've only been covering Modern Warfare 3 guns up till this point. However, in the launcher category, it's not like there's that much selection to be worried about here, so I will cover all of the launchers. And with this, we're actually seeing some really nice improvements. No matter which launcher you're using, I would say mag holster is worth it if this is a launcher-specific class. Like if you have a class setup that's just designed to take out streaks, for instance, mag holster can really go a long way here. Especially with the Strela P and the Pila. These see a pretty incredible improvement with mag holster. So overall, taking a look at all of the data that I collected, the minimum improvement you're going to be getting with mag holster is just 4.9%, and that was with the Rival 9 SMG. Whereas the maximum improvement is 48.8%, and you're going to be seeing that with the Renetti. As for the average of this entire data set, we're looking at about 26%. That's the average improvement that you'll see with mag holster or gunner vest when it comes to your reload add time. And I decided to throw together just this little cheat sheet for you guys. This shows the different percentage ranges that you see with these guns, so you can reference this, and if you want to use something like the Striker or the WSP Stinger or the Rival 9, you know that mag holster is really not worth using. You're seeing a less than 10% improvement with those guns. Whereas in orange, we have the not so great section at 10 to 20%. I probably still wouldn't want to use mag holster with those guns. Whereas anything after that, we have our good range from 20 to 30% in yellow, and then the great range, which is anything 30% and above. And overall, when it comes to my thoughts on mag holster, I think it's okay for most of the guns in the game. However, I do find it a bit unfortunate that there's such a massive range of how much this is going to be helping you depending on the gun that you're using. And it really does feel like you need this cheat sheet just to know whether or not mag holster is going to be worth it for you. I would much rather see a significantly tighter range here where it's helping roughly the same amount with all of the guns in the game. And I do think that amount on average should be hovering around 30%. I think a 30% improvement to your reload time is a nice worthwhile improvement that I think would be appropriate for a perk in that tier. Now, of course, that's just my opinion of mag holster as well as the gunner vest in Modern Warfare 3, and this is where I want to hear from you guys in those comments down below. First off, were you guys surprised to see how much of a discrepancy we're seeing depending on the gun that you're using? And second, what are your thoughts on the current state of mag holster? Do you agree with me? Do you think they should be equalizing these a whole lot more so that you don't need a cheat sheet to know if your perk is actually worthwhile or not? And second, if they were to rebalance that, what do you think is an appropriate percentage reduction to your reload add time with a perk like this? Just let me know all of those thoughts down below. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.